Welcome to this lesson on the circulatory system. Nice that you're taking this class. The 10th lesson already, and many more to come. We're going to talk about the circulatory system. We have already discussed the heart, and last week also the subject of blood. During this lesson, we will talk about the closed system of blood vessels through which blood flows. The blood brings nutrients and oxygen to all body cells, and waste is removed from the cells. We have different types of blood vessels. We have arteries, which turn into capillaries, which turn into veins. But what are veins and what are arteries? The main difference is that an artery goes away from the heart. So the blood from the heart enters an artery and it flows away. In a vein, the blood flows towards the heart. That's the main difference. An artery therefore brings oxygen and nutrients to all body cells. One artery is an exception, and that is the pulmonary artery. The blood does flow away from the heart, but is oxygen poor. It flows to the lungs to get oxygen, and the blood in the veins, where the nutrients and oxygen are extracted by the body cells. It returns to the heart to collect nutrients and oxygen, and here again an exception, the pulmonary vein. This contains red blood cells filled with oxygen. So the blood in an artery moves away from the heart. It is pumped out by the heart. And when the heart pumps very hard, there is also a lot of pressure in an artery. And that's why an artery has a thicker muscle. And because the heart is pumping, the blood cannot return. An artery, therefore, does not need valves. A vein does have valves because the blood is not allowed to flow back. And because there is no pump power behind it, valves are necessary. The red blood cells in our blood collect oxygen, and when a red blood cell is oxygen-rich, it becomes light red in color. When the oxygen has been removed by the cells, the red blood cell looks dark red in color. That is why, on anatomical drawings, the veins are drawn blue and the arteries red. How is the blood circulation going now? How does blood flow through our body and through the heart? Veins run from all over the body, from all body cells, which then go to the heart. All these veins open into the inferior and superior vena cava. These hollow veins then end up in the right atrium. All the blood ends up here. The oxygen and nutrients have been removed from the blood, and this contains waste. When the blood has been collected in the right atrium, a valve opens, the tricuspid valve. The blood flows to the right ventricle. The right ventricle ensures that blood goes to the lungs. It has to go get oxygen, and because the blood flows away from the heart, the blood vessel is an artery. It goes towards the lungs, so it concerns a pulmonary artery. Red blood cells contain the protein hemoglobin, which is necessary to absorb oxygen from the lungs. If the red blood cells are oxygen-rich, they return to the heart via the pulmonary vein. The blood ends up in the left atrium. Here the blood is pumped to the left ventricle, and the valve closes so that it can no longer flow back. And the blood is now filled with oxygen-rich red blood cells in the left ventricle. This is how the blood flows through your heart, from the right atrium to the right ventricle. Then the blood goes to the lungs to get oxygen. It returns to the left atrium and then the left ventricle. And then from the left ventricle through the body artery to the entire body, to all body cells. Thank you again for your attention. I hope it was clear. We will come back to this very often. And especially in the case of pathology, we will repeat everything regularly. If you have any questions, post them in the comments. Thanks again for taking this class, and see you again soon.